afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from the host Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero of Strike, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on crossroads between the south. We got Yurek fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland here with the Kampfgruppe Müller, with Ostrom Doctrine chosen, versus in the north we got MeisterYoon fighting for the United States of America, freedom and democracy, and the 2nd Infantry Division. We got airborne armor and heavy cavalry for him, largely sort of the meta sort of there, with bullets and for infantry, and a single Stuart there for MeisterYoon. A lot of Ostrom here for Yurek, allowing to swiftly move out and grab as much territory as possible. Though interesting enough, he went for an infantry company as well, so he's clearly worried about some kind of light vehicle play, just wants to back up the Ostrom and something else later on. Either way, we got both Ostrom squads moving westwards there to secure the fuel there, with the Pioneers instead being sent eastwards. So Ostrom moving ahead here, with the 3rd Ostrom squad on the way there for Yurek. For MeisterYoon so far just Rifleman. We got a Rifleman squad moving here towards the fuel. Can't easily sort of up. They're going to have to leave the point. They want them to be able to fight decently. Other Ostrom squad mounted up support first here. There we go. More troops moving in, pulling into cover here versus armies. Other Ostrom squad moving up to support, and there you go. 2 Ostrom squads with a single Rifleman squad. He's going to have the edge here. We got the Ostrom's moving up to support though. Then again, get up close to the Ostrom should quickly fall to the Rifleman there. Another Ostrom squad needs to get up and move quickly. Yurek. Schnell. Almost got the Rifleman there, but the Ostrom are quickly overwhelmed with gunfire from MeisterYoon's hardened men. Point there being secured. Just continue not supporting the other Ostrom squad in the south here. Pioneers advancing continually with a 3rd Rifle squad there for MeisterYoon. Ostrom moving up here, swiftly advancing, and right into sort of almost the same trap. He needs to focus on the Rifle first, so they're the bigger problem in essence, and can also more swiftly be dealt with. So there you go, quickly pushed away, but the rear sector done quite a bit of harm here to his Ostrom. And they're not quite getting their cover bonus, and that rather leaves them in a bit of an awkward spot. Then we got a lot of dead Ostrom, they're already piling up. Huge mountain, well, not mountain of corpses, perhaps a small hill of the dead. Anyway, central victory point short. Interesting enough, he did not try to support the western move there with more Ostrom. I mean, if he just sort of rushed in there with numbers, he probably could have easily overcome his opponent there. So that was a bit weird. In the east, Pioneers versus Rifleman. And we got an MD-42 following up there for Yurek and the Kampfgruppe Müller. Other Ostrom squad reinforced, pushed ahead. The other Ostrom squad now moving towards the east to support the Pioneers there. So right here off the bat, Yurek is actually splitting off. Does not kind of feel like having any focus to only plans to all around the fuel points. I mean, he's got the centre so off, but he's not really getting the vital fuel points. And he's, you know, splitting up his forces quite a bit. It's always something you should be careful about as the Wehrmacht. They're going before to me eastwards. Other Ostrom squad teams to me head northwards. Support here. There you go. Back to the corpse pile there. Reason's taking fire. This time I'm not close. Ostrom actually getting their cover bonus. That means they should be able to outdo them. Here in the east, Ostrom with Pioneers support hitting with the Riflemen. Moving up, they just flank the Riflemen so they can't get their cover bonus. Pioneers still need to retreat before they get annihilated. There we go. Some good damage here. We got Riflemen from the north there. Riflemen quickly moving about here to avoid getting further murdered. Ostrom being surrounded here. Up north there, Ostrom being pushed back by the arrival of another Rifle squad here. Again, bit too slow. Then again, there's a bit of a lack of focus here from Yurek in the early game. He's just sort of splitting up his forces willy-nilly. But there we go. MD-42 saves the day for the western flank here in the east. The Ostrom are finally coming there, very likely to get wiped, which is actually going to hurt him here. 200 manpower he's going to have to replace pretty rapidly. We got to take up there for Yurek. And he's finally going to be able to get a fuel point on the promise. The MeisterYoon's already had both fuel points there for quite some time. So in that regard, again, Yurek sort of needed to just focus on one of them early on, but the problem is he wanted both, and at the same time he just kept splitting up the Ostrom, when in reality they rather need to work together to sort of have any sort of real strength. In particular when there's more than one enemy unit there, in which case they do not really fare well 2 versus 1.
Production upgrade accomplished.
So that was definitely something there Yurek could have done, I think, a bit more sharply. We got more Pioneers on the way. No, he cancels it. More Ostrom first. We got Pioneers to the flying left, Ostrom up the Riflemen. Up here, Ostrom can move ahead to get points there. Instead they're just covering here for the time being. Trenches now available for Yurek and the Kampfgruppe Müller. Riflemen being pushed back here by the Ostrom. Note the icon barriers from the Russian Liberation Army, which is a unit that never actually really saw combat. It was sort of roughly ready around late 1944-45 and basically rebelled against the Germans and tried to set up their own little state and was crushed by the Russians. So while they sort of used Russian Liberation Army there as an icon, that was not really sort of any real icon for the Ostrom. And Ostrom is just sort of a general term that sort of covers a lot of the Eastern Europeans that sort of served under, you know, German forces, some different sort of types of units, if you will. Sort of a little fun detail. Initially they fought on the eastern front, but as things sort of beginning to look less good there, they were basically deemed unreliable and moved to the western front, for example, where they would man act to a certain degree, you know, the defences of Normandy. And would then quickly surrender, at which point they'd be handed over to the Soviets, who would of course then do terrible things to them. Which of course doesn't get quite mentioned as much, at which point they were sort of deemed pretty much completely unreliable, and they were pretty much pulled away from frontline duty and basically just utilised, you know, as Heavies or Hilfswillige, which basically meant they're sort of just there for doing supply duties, freeing up, you know, Germans for frontline duty. So that's a little fun detail there. They also served, for example, as, you know, security elements on the eastern front, behind the lines, where they're sort of deemed a bit more reliable. There's many of them sort of in Schutzmannschaften and other sort of police units.
Our base is under attack.
Wrapping up, they're going for the CoH point here. Troops back for healing reinforcement. Before moving towards the centre here. So now we can see the Soviets getting back to the map here against MeisterYoon, who's got Captain Mortar there. He can probably rush out the Steward rather rapidly versus Yurek, who's not got any sort of tech to deal with that. He's got no light mechanized company, and he hasn't been able to lay down any mines, for example, to help deal with the Stuart rush. On that regard, Yurek here is certainly having a bit of still of a rough start, and he's still, I think, to worrying extent, scanning his forces a bit much there. And they got sniper there almost done from that, should apply some pressure there to MeisterYoon. Awesome doing what they can though. Here, rifle charging force got volley fire, but then light covers, that's not going to be too effective. The rifle will likely end up, well, forced to retreat or dead before that happens.
Resupply by air is now available.
Ostrom there carrying the advance of the Pioneers, basically acting as a nice fat human shield. Alright, you guys, you move ahead of us and soak up, scout ahead. Awesome there versus Rifle going for the few points, and I've got both few points, still not taking up there, and he still hasn't laid down, I think, a single mine. So in that regard, the Stuart is going to be pretty great. And he even used Supervise there by a good move there by MeisterYoon, rushing out the Stuart light tank there versus Yurek. Sniper there has not really killed anything yet. Awesome there versus Rifleman, veterans who won gain there, so they sort of just lay down fire there, somewhat accurate. Nope, by the way, the sort of being better in cover actually reflects sort of a part of, well, German doctrine overall, which viewed certain troops as just being only pretty much good in, well, you know, prepared, fortified position. They actually had a grading system for the divisions, and they actually create entire divisions sort of just based on the concept of, well, you know, they're pretty much terrible infantry, but as long as there's sort of a strong position, for example, they can hold out. That's the concept behind all of the infantry divisions holding the Normandy coastline. For example, they were all what was rated as bodenständige Infantry Division, which meant, you know, static divisions, and they were pretty much not exactly the best Germany had to offer, but the idea was if the fortifications were strong enough, of course, they would be able to hold. The problem was the fortifications weren't. But that's another story. But sort of another sort of fun detail there. Little fun detail there. And overall, there was in fact a grading system within the German army for infantry, so the better division was, and of course, the better grade infantry it would get. We got Pioneers moving ahead here, MG4 just sitting up there. The Pioneers do trick before they get wiped out. Mortar fire raining down. Do have a Tellermine there from Yurek. That's something there. The Stuart has been pushed back there due to the Panther fast there. Ostrom, veterans, two blasting away at the rifle out in the open back here. Reinforcement going on. There's still no light to make a nice company. It's, I think, definitely a mistake there by Yurek. A bit of a mistake of priorities. At least it's, you know, gone down a lot more Tellermines. I think it would have been, you know, less worrisome. The problem is, you know, we're almost 10 minutes of the game. He still hasn't brought up the like to make a nice company, and his opponent, of course, has rushed ahead there. So in that regard, at Yurek, at least maybe had better early map control. It could also have slightly worked, but he didn't really have any. So in that regard, the late like to make a nice company is not exactly doing him any favours. Also, engaging the mortar crew, pushing it back there. A few well-placed hits. Stuart there slightly pulling back, and he in the east points being grabbed with a rifleman. The Stuart, though, would by 1944-45 slowly be replaced by the M24 Chaffee light tank, which had, I believe, somewhat improved on, but the main improvement for the Chaffee, though, was a much bigger gun, which roughly was the equivalent of the 75mm gun on the Sherman, by the way. Kind of wish they'd gone for that one. I think it would have been a bit more interesting than the Stuart, but can't have everything. There you go. Like to make a nice company up. You can go for a pack 40. You could also go for a bunch of 222s, you know, that way trying to hunt down the Stuart. A bit more risky, but would certainly also give him something more actively than sort of push back MeisterYoon's infantry. I think also Yurek at some point in the near future might consider some trenches here and there. Said he's going for Panzer gun. Of course, he might be planning, you know, Panzer Shreks to deal with the Stuart. That can certainly also work out. Ostrom Pioneers coming in there. Grabbing points there. Riflemen with BARs. We can see MeisterYoon sort of added more firepower to his men. Ostrom, they need to get into cover. Remember, Ostrom are pretty much terrible outside of cover. They can't hit the broadside of a barn. They need to be in cover to actually have a chance of hitting anything sort of in any sort of actually threatening manner. So right there, Yurek is making a bit of a tactical mistake. It's not moving up, supporting Ostrom in the center, taking 5. We got Ostrom moving up here. Pioneers not really in any effective combat distance. I guess Yurek sort of just got too caught up in other places, sort of not getting his men to a proper position. MD4 remains there, not really doing actually much there. You're better off trying to support elsewhere with Ostrom getting close enough for Panther, fast damaging the Stewart. In the south here, fighting continues. Ostrom being slowly overwhelmed here by the riflemen. Again, they were too long out in the open. Got Panther guys there, arriving, got the Panther on the way. Should help deal with the riflemen at least for a brief while before they get the Panther Trek. Troops there healing, reinforcing. Got take up there for Yurek. Not a bad idea though, just in a sense, you know, again, could overall been executed a bit better.
Enemy is attempting to steal our
Back at MeisterYoon space, we got nothing further going on there. He's got a pack house on the way though. We don't see those too often, though again, they are potent. It's just that the mortar is cheaper and faster to get, and basically that way can just much faster sort of rack up expense, but it sort of just becomes really, really nasty. But the pack house itself is also a very nasty light artillery piece, so that's a very important detail there to keep in mind. Panther going to do this there with their Panther 6. Troops in reinforcing. MeisterYoon grabbing most of the territory here for the 2nd Infantry Division. Stewart rolling out. Still no doctrine there for MeisterYoon. I mean, considering the old circumstances, you could easily go for heavy cavalry armor. Basically, just get something that could lay down some mines to make it harder for Yurek to get back on the battlefield. Airborne, in theory, he could just, you know, call in some 50 calibers and some other bits to support him versus Yurek and the Kampfgruppe Müller. Stewart, though, quickly slaughters some poor Ostrom bastard. Ostrom here, by the way, veteran defeat already. Not that it's too difficult. And not that it makes a huge difference. Of course, it does help him out a bit there. And there you go, trying to catch here the Stewart, but not quite much luck. We've got riflemen blocking the way there, and not enough support here in the east. We've got the sniper moving in the west here. Overall, heavy cover is causing an obstacle, and he does not have anything to really deal with it. You know, he's got no mortars, and no better infantry-like vehicles, you know, that way deal with it. So it's going to be pretty much easily just be bogged down without making much progress. I mean, that's one of the issues there with sort of Ostrom. Go for it too long, you basically sort of end up in the situation that got a wipe there with a bun grenade there. Clearly MeisterYoon wasn't paying attention, but I was about to say, again, if you rely on the Ostrom too long, as soon as your opponent upgrades to the infantry, just begins a bit more decently sort of defending against them, they very quickly lose a lot of momentum. They can't really get any further, and they basically Ostrom don't scale very well. So you need to sort of be able to actually scale them out, well, you know, face them out, and essentially get some better into sort of take over for them in the longer run. The problem is right now, Yurek's not. Instead, he's rushing ahead for armor there, in which case you should probably go for an Ostrom as soon as possible. Pressure the infantry, pressure the light tank. And you can go for the Panther 4, but that's still going to be at least at the current state, you know, 2 more minutes before we get that due to the very dismal sort of fuel situation for him. Push here for the cough up, Ostrom almost wiped out there, but ultimately didn't. And Ostrom here pushed away. So, I mean, really, he should just go for the Ostrom as soon as possible, but have a bigger and faster impact now. Would also be able to deal with the infantry, and of course also beat the Stewart there. So it would be a pretty good choice for him. I mean, again, he can go for this Panther 4, but that's going to take some time. Sometimes it's better just to go for something go now than wait for the slightly better solution a bit later. Of course, that's going to be a bit of a judgment call. Right now, though, I don't think MeisterYoon is actually taking up. There's nothing further going on here. Punishing up the situation on stake, grabbing the western fuel point. He's sort of opened up the floodgates for the fuel a bit more, though, but he could still be getting more there than he currently is.
Forces are securing our territory. The enemy has broken our supply lines.
Grabbing the eastern victory point there, back here, nothing further going on. Ostrom moving up. They got an anti-tank away there for MeisterYoon. He's clearly worried about enemy and armor. Up here, Stewart strikes the Ostrom, almost flips into one there.
Ready for action.
And there we go, we got the M1 50mm anti-tank gun out there here in the south center. Ostrom versus Rifleman, and more Ostrom moving up. He could try and flank, set up here behind some of the rubble by the house, and sort of just deal with them that way. We got the Stewart going in aggressively, MD42 supporting, but not quite enough. And there you go, Rifles got pushed away. And he got the Stewart though. Finally the Telemann goes off, knocking out the Stewart light tank. That's a definite victory there for Yurek, who definitely now seems to aim for the Panther 4 again. He could have had out an Ostwind much sooner again. That I think had a much bigger impact on MeisterYoon. Of course, now he's gone for armor. Ultimately, it might have been better going for the Panther 4. But again, that's also the thing you have to keep in mind there. But again, who knows, might have not then, because again, it done more damage and then M10s might have less impact. I mean, there's always all of those considerations. On the other hand, with M10 spam, the Panther 6 won't be nearly as effective as well. So, I mean, some of his decisions ultimately don't work out too well there, I think, versus MeisterYoon. By the way, Panther bombs down there for Yurek and the Comfortable Müller. Also, we're dealing with the rifle rear echelons. We got a mortar pack out here firing on the Osman. Need to be careful there. Cover shattering. And Sniper there supporting, getting killed down the mortar crew. And in the west there, bit of Ostrom push up here against Rifleman, going for the CoH one as well there. And we got the Panther 4 out there for Yurek and the Wehrmacht. Sniper left to deal with everything there, Vetchany too. Yeah, look at me, I'm an ace. No, not yet, Otto. You need to kill a bunch more and gain that search star above your head. My head? Yeah. Don't ask, but others, we can see it. It's a bit of a standoff here. Again, the Ostrom can't really just sort of push ahead here. Again, there's a bit of a limitation to the Ostrom again. That's why ultimately you kind of sort of got to support them with other infantry, at least have them support other infantry, because again, at some point, they just can't do it against, you know, well upgraded infantry, even veteran infantry. And that's really, again, the important part there about the Ostrom. But it tends to be sort of one of the bigger mistakes most Wehrmacht players tend to end up committing, you know, if they go for Ostrom. They'll go for it, but then, you know, not really get a bit infantry. Again, sometimes it'll just work because the opponent just sort of end up playing poorly, but again, the longer a fight ends up dragging out, I mean, it increases the chance of something going wrong. We'll of course have to see it here. I mean, his opponent is going to go for himself a bit of a one-sided strategy, looks like here with M10 spam. There's certainly going to be a problem there with only one Panther 4 and a few Panther 6. I mean, more mines here from Yurek would be really good. You know, telemines to catch up the M10s. Set them up a different place, you know, trying to just catch them, and that way destroys them for the Fatherland. And of course, a fun fact about the telemines eyes, they're actually surprisingly utilitarian anti-tank weapon. It couldn't just be, you know, used as just regular mines. You could also use them as a sense, a bit like a demo charge. Then you can set up with a ripcord, but you can also just use it as a regular anti-tank charge, lobbing it at the enemy tank and then setting off there. So it did have some multi-purpose there, or multi-usage there, the telemine, which I don't think tends to get mentioned so often. There you go, I'm 10 million damage from the Panther 4, pretty bad. They need to get the Panther. Oh, they're nearby. Need to get them up, and there you go. Rockets flying. Bit of damage done there. More pioneers for Yurek would be a good idea, and I think a Stoop support as Panther 4 versus the M10 would also be pretty good, rather than being suppressed by the MD42. But again, no real combat ready infantry nearby. We got Awesome keeping the flank clear from the captain.
A capture point is under attack.
Big push into the west here. Need to get those pioneers ready, and then repairing the Panther 4 again. As for MeisterYoon, we got nothing further there. He could go for a bulldozer Shem. Of course, he might aim for another M10 tank destroyer. Where the name Wolverine comes from, no idea. There's apparently no sort of real idea where it comes from. It's just sort of something that happened. More anti-tank and they're being pushed back. In the south, there we got Vierson's going the fuel point here. Seeing reinforcing. Panther 4's going to need some repairs. Of course, it did have a bit of disadvantage here with the open top turret, which rather, of course, meant the crew in the turret were rather exposed to, well, grenades, but also just any sort of airburst artillery, anything just nearby sort of exploding in the branches or anything above them, just sort of murdering them all. So there were some limitations to the design there in that sense. Of course, it also gave them a lot of, you know, well, view. Of course, it also meant they were exposed to the rain, which really wasn't that fun.
Points are down to 300.
It was also apparently in the case of one crew member, so he just kept losing his crew, while being the only survivor, which ultimately resulted in him apparently being considered jinxed. So there was some issues with that one as well, but yeah, some fun designs there. Overall, I've actually been asked by someone why the Allies went for this and not saying the Stug design. Overall, that, of course, that depends a bit on the resources available. And again, the reason the Stug design it was popular, of course, for the Germans at least, was it's easy to make. Without a turret, I mean, you don't have to do as much. It's a lot cheaper to make and also gives it a lower profile. Again, that's rather what the Germans favoured. Plus, they also favoured more aggressive play with the, their assault guns and such. Which again is sort of what the Stug was, not just a tank destroyer. Whereas for the Allies, again, it's sort of more mobility and sort of more defensive play. In which case, they sort of just favoured more turrets to support that way. Roughly, I mean, it's not the best explanation, but the sort of thing sort of roughly cuts it. Again, just differences in doctrine. Again, they sort of just viewed the roles of such units very differently. And sort of viewed also more specifically how they actually have to fight. I mean, that's just important. In that regard, again, fast, mobile, but with an open turret was sort of more important to them. Whereas again, for the Germans, for example, low profile, not much with the turret, but of course, bigger gun, more sort of, in case as well was sort of more important to them, and also the ability to more directly support infantry. In case of the students, for example, Pioneers, they're wiped, but also, hell, their Marders, for example, had machine guns mounted on them for dealing with infantry. We're talking hull machine guns. Bit of a loss there, though, for Yurek. Stug here, Panther forming hit both of the machine guns. That's certainly going to put some pressure on the M10, wipe the mortar. In these, we've got MD42 versus rifle, but again, remember the Stug is not a tank destroyer. It's a common mistake some players make, but it was not designed as a tank destroyer. It was never sort of considered a tank destroyer throughout the war. It was an assault gun, which did involve the role of blowing up tanks, but I mean, it was very much not just a tank destroyer. The German doctrine wasn't really that hard-coded on them. In fact, it did prefer them. Again, it wasn't overall that keen on specialists and rather preferred assault guns as an overall. Again, there's a reason why, for example, Guderian wanted the Hetzer sort of redesignated as a tank destroyer, not because he loved tank destroyers, but because he loved assault guns, but couldn't control them in his roles as Panther Inspector General, and thus needed something they could use instead, in which case he basically hijacked the assault gun program, reformed it into a tank destroyer, again, in name only though. Got Artillery called in here, the heavy railway artillery support here against the pack house and the anti-tank gun there, also under heavy fire. Rifle moving in, pack house or captain as well here, and direct hit on the pack house though, wiping it out here. Quite a loss there to MeisterYoon and the 2nd Infantry. Panther 4 supporting, opening up there, blasting with the Panther gun that is following up. Getting off a few hits. The Germans did have a large variety of guns mounted on railway guns. I mean, they even had full armoured trains. Some of them were stolen from the Russians, even the Poles. They also actually mounted large flak guns on railway trains as well, and used that, in part, as anti-aircraft support, but I imagine also used as artillery support. So that's another fun one there. And they actually mounted some pretty big ones. I think we're talking like 10.5 centimeters sort of flaks they mounted on trains. Returning a bit of trouble there. We got Sniper firing rate 29 kills. M10 moving up there. Need to get the Stug up there. Panther first, Panther Rex. Almost got it. Close but no cigar. The Stug was too far away to support. Keep them together, Yurek. Keep them together within supporting distance versus the M10s. 9 needs to fix up the Panther 4. Austin was just not really getting off the Panther faster, then again that might be due to him not having the munitions for it. Sniper here hanging about, getting some kills there. Rifle firing away and back here, nothing further going on there for Yurek. He still, I think, should consider some Panzer gun use, I mean seriously, to help versus the infantry. Again, his Ostrom can't really support his tanks very efficiently, which again, in some of those engagements, is going to give MeisterYoon the advantage because he can then support his tank destroyers and likes to actually versus the tanks. These here, MD42 keeping the rifle at the bay, laying down heavy suppressor 5. We got another Panther 4 on the way for Yurek. I don't know, again, with so many M10s about and the potential for more to come, I would definitely suggest another Stug. And again, get some Panzer Grenadiers, Yurek. Get some Panzer Grenadiers and don't upgrade them with a Panther Strike. I mean, the problem with them is they easily push about by the M10s and they can be crushed by the M10s. That's pretty much one of the problems with those chaps as the M10s. And, it's sort of the funny thing, these tank destroyers can easily counter tank hunter infantry that way. That's, again, one of the reasons why currently you don't really want to use them as any sort of M10 play unless you sort of got a lot of bunkers. Or, trenches. I mean, if you were to lay down trenches, though, that would actually work. Actually, that's probably the one way they can actually make it pretty much work, that is trenches. But so far, the Yurek isn't building any trenches. Most players tend to neglect trenches, which, of course, it's not exactly doing Yurek any favours. We got another M10 there for MeisterYoon. M10 there hanging back. Panther 4 Stug being repaired. 2nd Panther 4 they're also ready to support. Pin bump machine on the way. So 2 M10 tank destroyers there. By the way, built on the Sherman chassis. There was, I mean, most of the tanks were used on some other kind of chassis. The only one that specifically designed chassis was the M30, not M30, the M18 Hellcat. They go quickly moving too far ahead. There's some Ostrom scouting ahead. We're pretty good there for him. Other Panther 4 is slightly flanking in there, good, but getting some hits there. And again, this is also where some supporting infantry would be great, at least a mortar, because that way you could focus down the anti-tank gun while everything else was focused on the Panther 4. So a bit of missed opportunity there by Yurek, I think. Panther 4 rolling ahead, also no longer match, so no game analysis. 10 there, it's taking a lot of damage out there on the Panther 4. Damaged engines, shot bounce from the M1, moving up the Stuke here, also moving in. Need to cover that with the Stuke, almost got an M10 there. Panther first, and the M10 goes up in flames. It is cooked up. Good job there by Yurek, but his Panther force now very much separate from the rest of the force. Again, no supporting infantry, nothing that can actually immediately support it. In this case, we've got the Cap moving up with the bazooka. Pretty bad news there. We got the infantry moving up, but again, there's no immediate infantry that can assist. There's no Panther gun that can quickly flash away the infantry. And he should be focusing down the captain, not rifleman. That's definitely another mistake there by Yurek. Focus the guy that can actually seriously harm your tank rather than the infantry, which can't that reliable fit in it. So that's a tactical misdecision there by Yurek. Here's some down through the centre here. Troop ceiling reinforcing. Now the Stuke here would be good, and otherwise just more Panzer Grenadiers for Yurek. Almost got the M10 there, halfway to its free. Also noting MeisterYoon is floating some resource there, needs to be careful about that. He could take up, go for some regular tanks, and then work with this M10 tank destroyers. Reinforcement healing going on. Phantom was there again. Not really going to help out much. They need to retreat. A bun grenade. This one was options, I guess. But again, not a very sustainable long-term option there. That close to the enemy base. I mean, they've been able to bring up the MB-42, maybe, but not much like the eastern side been abandoned to the Americans. And we got another M10 here from MeisterYoon. Able to bring up just a lot of them. We got Yurek there going for another Panther 4. Can't help but feel he might be underestimating the M10 threat there from MeisterYoon and the 2nd Infantry Division. Fun fact, the American High Command to an extent were actually a bit annoyed with the M10s and the way they were actually employed, which, they're basically doctrine meant to just work as support weapons in case they get attacked. But the thing is, a lot of the chaps at the front line would basically just use them like, tanks and just support the infantry when attacking. That was not the way to do it. So, of course, rather than revising things, they just basically went and took away about half of all the tank destroyers in the tank destroyer battalions, replaced them with anti-tank guns that are towed so people could use them the right way. That rather came around to bite them hard in the ass by the time of the Ardennes, when all of a sudden the Germans were attacking, and the whole anti-tank gun business rather ran into some problems where, again, all the tank destroyers were more flexibly able to deal with it. So that's a little fun detail there. Bit of fighting here, Ostrom versus Rifleman there. Bit of fighting around the centre. So we got 2 Panther Force 1 Stuke versus 2 M10s. Need to work them together at the very least. Also noting this Panther Force very close to Veteran 2. Riersten's Rifleman moving up here, taking power from the Panther 4.
We're losing a capture point.
Need to work them together. I mean, any half-decent American players could have worked them together in packs anyways. I mean, you don't want to make it easier for them to destroy your tanks.
Capture point is under attack.
We kept pushing them back there. I think we also got grenades up from MeisterYoon. Good work there, but no sign of smoke. There we go, M10 rolling out there. Panther 6 to connect quite nicely, damaging it heavily, taking almost down to half health. And Yurek there being quite passive with his armour, his Panther 4s and his Stuke.
The enemy is overrunning one
Grabbing the eastern victory point there, moving up here. Splitting up his armour again. Do be careful about that, Yurek. Do be careful. Don't split them up too thinly. Remember, your opponent has a lot of M10s prowling about. They will make short work of your tanks if you're not careful. Okay, looks like he realises something's up. Then he's going to move his other armour over to support the Panther 4. He's now dispatched all the way towards the east with minimal support. And again, the Osttruppen aren't really suitable Panzer support infantry. And most of them are just there to sort of deny points and hold up territory, draw attention, but ultimately, you know, they're not going to be sort of doing the most vital of fighting right out. Cap moving in there. Panther 4 could deal with it. Just took Panther 4 now again. A bit more contrary. There you go. Cap taking fire. Both Panther 4s opening up with the 75mm guns. Big push here. He's actually not supporting his M10s with each other. That could be a bit of a victory there for Yurek. Then sort of catches one, deals with it quickly. Panther 4 getting eventually 2. Also out in the open for the most part. Taking a lot of damage there. Panther 4 it takes a quite nasty hit there from the M10. Got Telemines going down there. Not bad, not bad. Nothing further going on in Yurek's base. Just briefly looked like he was doing something with his resources. Careful with that, Stu. Got the punch moving up. He's trying to cut off the cheap part of him. M10. Not bad, not bad. Almost got it there, almost got it. Down here, though, a few points not being defended by the Panther Force. He doesn't care. Panthers need to retreat for the range of the base defenses. Pulls back the Stu here. And sends the Panther Force now to deal with the troops in the east. In the center, we got Sniper creeping here. They're bleeding out some of MeisterYoon's forces. And there you go, Panther Force engaging the riflemen. My god, they're killing everybody. Everybody. Oh my god, they're all dead. Murdered there by the Panther Force. Almost got a wipe there, but ultimately not quite. That's going to take him some time to repair, though. And we got the Sherman bulldozer out there for MeisterYoon. Technically, the bulldozer could be attached to anything that wasn't specifically attached to any Sherman with a 105mm gun. By the way. Awesome there versus Rifleman. Back here, healing reinforcement going on. We got take up, so he's actually planning for tier 4 here. I mean, long term, you know, Panthers versus M10s would not be a bad idea, but of course the other ideas might just be, you know, go for more Stooks and Panther gun ideas now, you know, outfight the enemy more directly, and then maybe consider, you know, taking up for that, you know, instead of just trying to do it now. But he should definitely get some regular Panther gun ideas out and not upgrade. Again, something that can more actually deal with the infantry and freeing up the armor then for dealing with the M10s. I mean, he needs to silence them quickly before they become too much of a problem. I mean, if MeisterYoon builds up too many M10s, Yurek's going to have a really, really hard time. They have a high rate of fire and high penetration, plus high mobility, and again, they can run our infantry quite easily, so that rather makes them pretty dangerous to deal with. There you go, Panther 4 being worked on. Using here these bulldozers shown to set off mines. Yurek otherwise in map control here versus opponent's act. Got him down to almost 100 victory points. That's pretty good there for Yurek. And got a unit wiped there with a sniper. Good work by Yurek. And a sniper. Bulldozer moving ahead here. Oh, whilst being pulled back. You could have, I think, tried bedding him into the telemine there, but there was no luck there. Still no trenches. I mean, really, again, it would do a lot for the Ostrom if they could at least, you know, use trenches. And again, they can build them. I mean, at least make it hard for them to be pushed off points as well. So, I mean, I do, you know... Wait, did those mines just vanish? I mean, I don't think the reactions were near them. Was it just me? Because it just looked like they stared at them and they just vanished. But anyways, trenches. I mean, again... If you got trenches, you know, consider using them. In particular, going for an Ostrom doctrine with a lot of Ostrom. Use trenches. We'll do whatever we can to at least minimize what, or maximize what it can do. And again, trenches do a lot there. So that's really something I think Yurek should consider. Also benefit the rest of his troops as well. Particularly again, the Panzerjägers would be much better off there with something supporting right now. We got mines sweeping out here, the center points there. Probably pushed back here with the Panther 4. And here in the west, Ostrom versus the Sherman. No real armor support there. It's a bit of sort of waiting here, a bit of cat and mouse gaming going on with the two. We got the heavy Panther Corps there for Yurek and the comfortable Müller. Certainly bring in more and more armored support here versus MeisterYoon. He can shoot, go for the Panthers, certainly should, but again, he needs to be careful about splitting out his armor too far. And for that, Errol just splitting up his forces too much. Got the M10 moving ahead here. Panther 4 bit on its own. Stu is split up way too far from everything else there. Way too far again. No idea what caused him to do that. Was really tactically a terrible idea, knowing his opponent has a lot of M10s. I mean, now he's already lost one Panther 4 at the Stuka now, but then great, they dash down to one Panther 4. We got both M10s by popping armor piercing out to increase penetration, absolutely ensuring they can penetrate the armor of the Panther 4 there. Stuka not doing anything. Panzer Jaegers not moving up to support the Panther 4. In fact, I'm trying to get the Panther 4 closer to that. Missing there with the HVAC rounds, down to half health there. Finally got the Panzer Jaegers moving in, but it's too late now. Got the Sherman there with the Stugi. A small victory there for Yurek, but overall pretty dangerous. And he's lost the main gun on his Panther 4. And to tank there in the way, we got more to the raining down. Ostrov needs to move up there. And needs to keep the Panzer Jaegers close. Close, Yurek. Schnell. On the map, be able to get to the M10 there. Got the anti-tank group there. Got more M10s rolling out there. Panther 4 pulling back. Stugi nearby, but the Panzer Jaegers, they can't protect the main force. Instead, he's not paying attention, I think. Yurek. Yurek, why? Focus, concentrate. Don't bite off more than you can chew. It's a really good piece of advice. And now again, there's all of a sudden 2 M10s hit, including one base, ace level hit, virtually free. High mobility, high rate of fire. Got one M10, but the problem is now it's about to get his Stu 3 there, virtually 2, and his Panther 4 can't defend it. So in fact, he didn't even try to get away with the Panther 4. Didn't try to take it to a safe spot. And again, this is what happens when you overextend, Focus, concentrate, coordinate, combined arms. It's like, one of the most important elements of the Wehrmacht. Yet Yurek sort of consistently, he just ensured his forces were not able to support each other, despite knowing, again, one of the primary methods of M10 spam to do anything is just bunch them up and hit the enemy. And he ended up, I think, losing the Panzer guns as well, almost at least. Dropping a Panther for the enemy to grab. So that was definitely not very well executed there by Yurek. I mean, he's going for a Panther now, but really that was, I think, a very good lesson there. Hopefully a painful one for Yurek, obviously. If you're up against M10s, don't split up your armour. Don't, and certainly do not split up your tanks from your Stugs. Again, don't. And for that matter, remember to use target weak point if you can. I mean, that was really there as though a tragedy there of errors by Yurek. Definitely something he needs to work on sharply. But the Panther's almost done. He's going for more Panzer Grenadiers. That will actually help better the infantry. That is good. That is good. We should also grab that Panther ship for some Ostrov. Also looks like he is brought up. No, that's just recruit MD4. But there you go. Panther out for Yurek. Though he's still up against some M10s now. Seems like you got the veteran female. I need to deal with that pretty quickly. Panther moving ahead here. M10 damage engine. Does not pursue. Panther moving up here. Pushing against the east. Grabbing the Panther Shrek. Quick repair still on the M10, allowing it to get away there. Sharp move there by MeisterYoon. Panther needs to get a bit more active and again support the infantry more actively. Forvet, Yurek. Forvet. Though still he's got the lead then. Victory points has been playing reasonably well, but again, that was a pretty critical tactical error there by Yurek. MeisterYoon on the hand actually needs to take up, he needs to go for some more than just M10, and he needs to broaden his perspective a bit there. Otherwise, again, he just risks leaving more openings for Yurek than he should be comfortable with. In particular, the Yurek actually follows up with a second Panther, in which case the M10 spam might run into some serious issues. And for that matter, just goes for more Panther Grenadiers. There you go, grenade off, almost got the Ostrov from there. Double Ostrov got to the rifleman there. Panther Grenadiers not really coordinating with the tanks. And we got the essence with the snipers now getting some quick kills there. 56 kills. Going for the centre victory point there. We got Panthers moving up east continually. MD42 covering the centre as well. And grabbing eastern points as well. You can see that Yurek, those quick to gain back map control versus MeisterYoon again is a bit too reliant there on M10 spam. And I think to an extent also a bit too reliant on Yurek sort of just making mistakes there. It's not really sort of practically pushing any plans sometimes, it feels like. Although that's back to 2 M10s. Panther needs to be careful again. He needs to keep it properly supported. M10's moving in there. Panther pulling back there. Pushing for the CoH on there with the Panther Grenadiers. Could actually try and go for the wipe there. Just not. But again, we can sort of see we got the M10 moving in there, preventing them from firing their one Panther Shrek. And in fact, crushing them. And again, we can sort of see here the issue with just, having Panther Shreks versus the M10s. They don't quite have the impact. So in this case, you just keep them close to the Panther, support the Panther with the, the Panther Grenadiers with each one Panther strike, and that way, sort of threaten the M10s, I think, a lot more reliably. He's going for a third Panther Grenadier escort there. Not bad. M10's prowling about again. Anti-tank gun back at base. Need to get that one out to the front line as well. Rapidly, we got the infantry flanked by the captain. M10 just rushing straight into it. M10 moving in. Hits still a mine though. Good work, good work. You deal with the Panther. Don't let it get away. Don't get away, Yurek. Auto fire. Panzer Granate. And there we go. M10 kaput. Shot bounced. And the M10 is kaput. Rather than being pushed back, grabbing the center victory point, grabbing the eastern one. Panther's going to be moving up. They should be able to clear out the cap now that they're down to one Panther shake there.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
But he needs to go up for another M10 again. He is still playing versus armor doctrine. His opponent can still throw a lot of M10s, in which case 2 Panthers should lock down that very high, in particular Course Master units, then increasingly not looking like to take up, to at least support it with some Jacksons or something else. Need to cover that with the Panther Grenadiers. 48 points left there for MeisterYoon. One grenade off. There we go, grenade off as well in return, and close there. Grab the center victory point. Panther hanging back here, and back here at the base further on for Yurek. Nothing further happening. And now he's going for an Ostwind. Again, I don't think he needs an Ostwind right now. I think he needs to work his units better together. I mean, again, he's just overextending them really, really far. He's getting too greedy there. There's increasing lack of coordination of field by Yurek, but also you get more Panthers. Lock down any kind of M10 spam really hard. Just use the Panther in conjunction with the Panthers and then deal with the infantry. I mean, the Ostwind, again, is going to be way too exposed, at least in particular the way that currently Yurek is playing. I mean, it's going to be probably just easily separated from the rest of his force and just destroyed. At this rate, anyways. I mean, it could be, complete decide to make a full tactical change there once it hits, but, I mean, if you sort of consider the current pattern, you can't help but fear it's going to not end up too well there for Yurek and his Ostwind.
M10 tank destroyer ready.
110 from MeisterYoon. We got Ostwind there, Rapid getting some kills there. Ostwind out for Yurek, the Flak Panzer IV. Based on the Panzer IV chassis, and they're going to gain the rifleman. Pushing it back there with its 37mm gun. Panther could do with some repairs, but that's also just do with him more active. You got Captain Nevis the Ostwind, quick pulls it back. M10 moving in. No support there from the Panther immediately. And despite knowing again there's an M10 operating nearby, he's then further sending off his Ostrom far away again, despite, he should be aware that your opponent's going to like you, just try and hunt it down there with the M10s if he's not careful. Panthers almost wiped out, probably good hit there from the pack house. There we go, Victory 2, almost Victory 3, and here we go, Captain being dealt with by the Ostrom, falling Ostrom, but again, we can see there, one M10 is rushing in, and the Ostrom will not be able to defend the Ostrom versus it again. Scattering his force out too far there is proving to be a pretty bad plan there for Yurek, in particular his tank, because it makes them very easy prey for the M10. That was a definite, I think, tactical blunder there by Yurek, and he was certainly sufficiently punished for it by MeisterYoon. He's also lost a Panther Grenadier escort there, definitely not good either. In fact, it is pretty bad, and his Panther's not receiving any repairs either. Panzer's advancing straight to line of fire the riflemen. Need to retreat those Panzers pretty quickly before they get whacked. Yurek! Yurek! Seems intent on repeating certain mistakes by now. He might be getting desperate again. He's got his opponent down to that low victory point count again. Some players just can't handle it again. They just sort of begin making really, really terrible decisions because again they think you can just get away with short-term decisions for the rather than long-term to just win the game that way. So again, this could increase me the point that MeisterYoon might have a chance of getting back against Yurek. But really, he is scattering his forces too thinly. I mean, it's like, again, the Wehrmacht very much built around combined arms, and what does Yurek do? He plays it like he's goddamn Rambo. Which he isn't. He's the Wehrmacht.
We're losing a capture point.
Combined arms über alles. There you go, smoke screen from MeisterYoon on the MG42. There you go, work. I mean, at least it sort of looks like it. Again, he might at least try and position his Panther a bit, able to support better, and to tank nearby. Plus, they're going to get swept away. Sniper can support a bit there. An incendiary explosive round there would help, though. Not enough munitions. Grenades off. There we go. Panther's almost wiped out. 65 kills on that sniper, by the way. That's a huge deal there for Yurek. Not surprised if... Yeah, he's done a lot of the killing there for him. And of course, I mean, MeisterYoon has a lot of the kills because he's been closely fighting Ostrom, which will just suffer higher rates of losses. But there he goes to make it a close getting crushed by the M10. M10's going straight for the Panther, doing some damage, And to tank and overwhelmed. Need to pull back the Panther further. And now it's got actually no other anti-tank support for it. The M10s can now further easily deal with it. And there you go, Panther down. Quite a loss there for Yurek and the Kampfgruppe Müller. Ostrom there being pushed away. The infantry is depleted, but again could have been depleted further ahead. I think Yurek executed a better strategy and tactic versus them. But he can soon go for another Panther, which shouldn't be too bad. But I mean, sort of look at how much he's used his doctrine. He's used Ostrom and he's used, railway to support. Again, there's been no trenches about that could have helped him solve cases, and particularly when he had most of the map. No officers, and there's certainly been no supply drop zones either. Not even, again, he had a lot of resources just floating about. 66 kills on the sniper. And moments where they've been able to go for the second Panther. Also moving up there. 30 kills on that rifle squad, and there you go, second Panther for Yurek. Certainly still looking pretty rough there. Yeah, such an advantage, but again was unable to sort of really hold on to it. Again, simply due to just constantly scanning out his forces and making some, not good strategic decisions. Again, the Ostrom was a definite mistake. You should just aim for a second Panther as fast as possible. But again, just constantly scanning out his forces too thinly for them to be able to support each other. Again, they are very much about combined arms. If the forces aren't supporting each other, they become easy targets. And MeisterYoon, of course, has absolutely no compunction about supporting his forces with other forces, meaning in many cases, tactically, he will have numerical superiority. Even again, Yurek just had more forces in a bigger part of the map there. He wasn't able to leverage it very well because, again, it was just too thinly apart. Again, they can't support each other, and that's particularly a problem for the Ostrom, which again, just don't scale well, and again, can't fight on their own into the late game at all.
That's it, fellas. Our supply line just got cut off.
M10's running out there. Sniper, 69 kills. 70 kills. Second Panther out there for Yurek. More riflemen for MeisterYoon and the second infantry. And then these we've got the awesome being swamped by riflemen. And rifleman Jason's the captain here. More bazookas there, by the way, for him. And a pilfered Panther shake there. Which is definitely bad news there for Yurek.
Got a rifle squad waiting for orders.
More riflemen out there for MeisterYoon. Healing BAR's being handed out there as well. Almost got the captain there. Pioneers being westwards. And reason they're getting blasted by the Ostrom pretty hard. Bazooka drop, but not the Panzerschreck. Ah, scheiße. Why is all this American crap they drop? Why can't they give our stuff back? Because it's the best stuff, Ludwig. Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, who wants them? I mean, they don't even want it. There you go, bazooka hit on the M10. He couldn't Panther faster. There he goes, going to drop. No, it ends up retreating. Panther's now moving in, but again, not a lot of support for the Panther. On the other hand, for the M10, we got two rifle squads essentially covering it. We got a 50 caliber out there. So he's actually back-teched. Have I missed that? Yeah, he actually back-teched. I think he's already lost the 10, but he actually gone for 50 calibers To further make it difficult for Yurek to move out on the battlefield. That's actually a pretty nice move there by MeisterYoon. I'm a bit amazed that someone managed to miss the lieutenant. That's a bit embarrassing. No one just likes Lieutenant Dan, I guess, including me.
German tank is murdering us! Capture complete! Stand by!
42 versus 128. Wrapping up the Ostrom, hold up behind the wreckage of an Ostwind. The folly of Yurek. Grenades off there, pushing them further back. Here, not been good for them. Pioneers versus the Echelons. Sniper they're trying to port. Going for now a second sniper. I think it's a bit late for that for Yurek. Bit late for that. 72 kills. Try and use some incendiary explosive rounds there for a bit of extra impact. Panther a bit again moving about there with limited support. Moving through the centre. In the west, we got another push through there. Panther going to do this with MG42 support. There we go, 50 cover opening up there. Captain taking a single loss, but nothing too big. Got a wipe there somewhere. 73 kills in the sniper rifle moving up through here. In the west, there we got Panther moving ahead. Earson's a bit of trouble. Grenade off. Didn't quite do much. We got Earson flanking there with a Panther on the Panther, forcing it back. Sniper there with 74 kills. Yurek is still fighting back there for the fatherland. Second sniper there, both retreating. Got the M10 moving in there. Panther with a damaged engine and no immediate support in sight.
Lock her down. Here it comes.
Quick got the Pioneers hard at work like that.
Stick with me and you might just make it. We're getting plastered over here. The capture point is under attack.
Rifleman there versus Panther Grenadiers. Panther's going to need to retreat pretty much on the spot. They do not last long there. There's grenades again. We got BARs, other things. I mean, he wants to get the victory point, obviously, but the problem is, I don't know. We got another grenade there and almost wiped them, but no support versus the M10, so ultimately he's forced to retreat anyways. 65. 62, beginning to look really, really bad. Here we got double snipers opening up like someone on a shooting range, shooting the Americans. Yeah! You got the fat one. 100 points auto. Yes, it's easy to hit.
They just fell to 50 points. The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
50 cover there coming the victory point. We've got the Panther moving in, should be able to deal with that. Bit of fun here. Again, we can sort of just see he's trying to desperately get every single point, but again, he can't really sort of successfully rush them all at the same time. Again, his force is not in a condition to do so. 32 points left. And in a sense, I mean, he's sort of focusing a bit more around the centre now. We got this Panther moving in there. We got the double snipers. He's got the southern one there. They need to lay down S-mines to help them keep it covered as an infantry. Grenade off in the Osttorben. Wipes half the unit. Rifleman almost wiped out there by the sniper fire. 77 plus 4 kills. So 81 kills altogether on the 2 snipers. A trench here would also be really good idea. Again, allow him to just more easily contest the point. But again, lay down some S-mines there, Yurek. Lay down some mines. Dig some trenches. Get ready to hold for the fatherland.
We're losing a capture point.
More kills than inflicted. And I mean, note again, he's aware of the victory points. He's prioritizing now fuel points more than the victory points. But again, no, you can't, do without them for any prolonged period of time. They're easily giving up the one. He fought so hard in the center there. M10 missed for the Panther. Snipers are slightly moving in. Yeah, MeisterYoon flowing there a ton of fuel. Could easily take up. There you go for Shermans, go for Jacksons. Panther is moving ahead. We got artillery there, which basically cover any approach there. So he's actually gone for more Panther now. But again, not exactly being the most effective choice there. We'd be better off with Pack 40s, to be honest, with all these M10s. At least, wipe the full unit there. But at least they can't run over the Pack 40s. They can outmaneuver them, but they can't very efficiently deal with them. So in that regard, that's also another oddity of Yurek. He never went for a Pack 40. Now that I think about it, actually, when I reviewed this video for the first time, I actually want to make a note of that. Where were the Pack 40s? I mean, Panther Grenadiers with Panther Strikes are a terrible counter for M10 spam. Pack 40 there, at least we've done a lot more for that. So we got 20 versus 29 points left, and he was really close there to bleeding up MeisterYoon. Really close to just winning through that, but again, there's just this strategic flaw for Yurek, and even tactical flaw there, again, of just constantly scattering his forces across the wind there, making it very easy for just Yoon to overwhelm them one by one. It's not exactly the best plan there to overall execute. And particularly again when your faction is very dependent on working the units together tightly. That was, I think, definitely one of the big mistakes there by Yurek throughout this match. Like, just a consistent mistake as well. Bulldozer Sherman out there, 8 left. Can't get to any other victory points, 7 points left. Panther almost down. And there you go, Panther kaput to the M10s. Game over. And there you go, Yurek surrenders. GG. Again, overall, primarily, don't scatter our forces too thinly. Don't get too greedy as the Wehrmacht. Focus ahead, aggressively push, but support it together, around an MG42 or something else. That will push, secure points, then dig in, and secure the territory with the mines and the likes. And in this case, we could also use trenches. I mean, in that regard, Yurek failed to use the full resource available to him. That was a big mistake as well. Trenches could have done a lot here. But he didn't make the Panther because the Panther somewhat viable versus the M10s. But again, for some reason, he wouldn't even do that, despite the trenches costing nothing. So that's got a big issue there for Yurek. Poor handling of the armor again, split them up way too easily again against an opponent who should know would bunch up his M10s, that way just try to wolf pack his tanks one by one. So again, for whatever reasons, Yurek decided it was a great idea to, just split them up, make it easy for the opponent. So in that regard, Yurek, stop splitting up. Focus, man. Focus, for heaven's sake. MeisterYoon, on the hand, could have gone down with a, more flexible strategy. Again, M10 spam was just, again, Yurek just played a bit more consistently, a bit more intelligently. He could easily, wrecked it. Again, it was just, not well handled there, not enough support, and certainly not enough armor for later engagement. That's a bit the problem with the M10 spam. Once it sort of gets countered to an extent, it sort of quickly loses a lot of steam and just ends up wasting a lot of resources. I mean, for that matter, you're just gone for double Stooks. He probably got to deal with it a lot more easily. And again, that Osprey was a mistake. Had to also double Panther. I mean, there were so many opportunities for Yurek just winning the game, yet every single time he would just, for some reason, decide, nah, let's not. So, I mean, really, this was just Yurek, to an extent, just earning himself a good beating from MeisterYoon. So I hope Yurek watches this and, feels a bit ashamed, because he should. Again, improve Yurek. There's a lot there to improve upon. There's a lot you could have done better. As for MeisterYoon, again, don't just M10 spam, play a bit more intelligent as well with that. Use your strategy more flexibly. You had a lot of fuel. You can attack. You've done a lot more there as well. So, I mean, there's plenty of room from there for MeisterYoon, and certainly he could also flank more. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in replay and feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Dancing. Cheers. Thank you all for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye.